Lifestyle. Now, here are your hosts, Brandi Proctor and Candace Gold.
Hey everybody, happy hump day and welcome to Bmore Lifestyle. I'm your host, Brandi Proctor, and we've got a great show ahead for you. Today we're arming you with tips to find that work-life balance you desire. And then later we'll share how Amazon is making it even easier to shop and how you can enter to win an awesome prize pack in our Rocket Man contest. But before we do, let's talk about something that most families are affected by: addiction.
This segment is sponsored by Ideal Option.
Well, today's first guest empowers families and individuals to live healthy lives. Joining us to share more about the work they do is Chloe Nichols from Ideal Option. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So a whole lot of families are affected by addiction, right? The opioid epidemic has become all too familiar, especially here in the Maryland area. Talk to us briefly about that.
Absolutely. So the opioid epidemic has affected all parts of the country, and Maryland is not immune. So the epidemic occurred in 3 waves. It began in the 90s when providers began to prescribe more prescription opioids when pharmaceutical companies said they were safer and less addictive than they truly were. Then in the 2000s, regulations increased and there weren't as much access to prescription opioids, so more people turned to drugs like heroin. And then around 2013, a drug called fentanyl came on the scene, and that caused a dramatic rise in overdose deaths.
Wow. So what does the opioid epidemic look like right now in Maryland?
So right now in Maryland, there have been approximately 11,000 overdose deaths since 2009.
Wow.
In 2018 alone, there were 2,400 overdose deaths. We've continued to see an increase in the use of fentanyl and heroin, and the vast majority of people who are addicted to opioids are not in treatment. Approximately 88% of those addicted are not receiving the treatment they need.
Wow, so we hear so much about fentanyl. What is it? Why is it so dangerous? And should we be concerned about this third wave of the epidemic?
Yes, absolutely. So fentanyl is a synthetic opioid, meaning it's man-made, and it's especially dangerous because it's about 50 to 100 times as potent as morphine. So you really need a very small amount of fentanyl can result in an overdose.
And so why are people choosing it?
So some of that has to do with availability and cost. It can be cheaper sometimes. Also, it has to do with the nature of addiction. If someone's using opioids, they need greater amounts or something of a higher potency in order to get the same effect. So they look for things that are more potent, such as fentanyl. Also, we find that a lot of people who are using fentanyl don't even realize it. They may think they're using heroin, but there's fentanyl in the heroin or fentanyl in cocaine. They also sometimes press fentanyl into pills to make it look like prescription opioids.
So if somebody is using a powerful opioid like fentanyl, is there hope for recovery?
Absolutely. So there's the most effective treatment is called medication-assisted treatment, in which we use medications like buprenorphine or naltrexone to help people overcome opioid addiction. So even if somebody is using something as powerful as fentanyl, there's definitely options for them, and they should reach out for help when they're ready.
And you said 88% of people who are addicted are not getting that treatment. Why?
That's correct. Some of it has to do with access. Or knowledge. They don't even know that there's an effective treatment available. So the more people we can reach and inform of that there is help available, that's the best way to do it.
So what about helping somebody maybe recognize? Do you think that maybe they don't realize that it is something they should get treatment for?
I think sometimes that's the case. They don't know all the signs to look for, or they're caught up in the active addiction. They're not ready to get help.
So talk to us about that. What about people who think that they have to be completely clean in order to be recovered?
So some people have that concept that using something like a medication-assisted treatment is not recovery, but that's not true. And the evidence shows that this is the most effective treatment, and that without medication-assisted treatment, there's a very high rate of relapse. Using medications like buprenorphine, it allows people to overcome their addiction, to get back to their normal life, to work, to take care of their family, and it protects them from the risks of overdose.
So talk to us about what you guys do at Ideal Option.
So at Ideal Option, we use medication-assisted treatment in an outpatient setting. We have 6 clinics across Maryland. And we coordinate with getting people into behavioral health as well, to help them overcome their addiction.
So what is the first step if somebody wants to seek help? What do they do first?
So the first thing they can do is they can either call our 800 number or go to our website. Also, we take walk-ins at any of our 6 clinics across the state. They'll be put in touch with somebody who can schedule a same-day or next-day appointment.
Wow, okay, so so it's immediate almost.
Absolutely, there's no wait list.
All right, well, all the information right there on the screen. Chloe, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and we hope that our viewers certainly get something from it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, well, switching gears, discover your work-life balance.